All right, settle down, settle down. So, you fancy yourself an adventurer, do you? Tired of the queues at the Louvre, the selfie sticks at the Grand Canyon, the crushing disappointment of a lukewarm pint in Leicester Square? Perhaps you're an extreme introvert, someone whose idea of a wild Friday night involves unplugging the router and pretending the doorbell is a figment of your imagination? Well, have I got the travel destination for you? I'm talking about a place so remote, so utterly off the grid, that even your most persistent spam emails will give up and declare you legally deceased. Welcome, my friends, to the one, the only Grimsværk, where the Wi-Fi is weak, but the existential questions are strong. Why Grimsværk, you ask, with a perfectly reasonable tremor in your voice? Perhaps you're seeking a digital detox so profound it makes a silent retreat look like a rave in Ibiza. Or maybe you've simply run out of new series to binge watch and figure staring at a bleak, unchanging horizon is the next logical step in personal entertainment. Grimsværk isn't for the faint of heart, or for those who consider a delayed Amazon delivery a genuine crisis. It's for the connoisseur of quiet, the aficionado of absence, the person who hears social distancing and thinks, amateur numbers. I can do better. It's the ultimate challenge for those who claim to love solitude. A true test of whether you actually enjoy your own company or just the idea of it. Now, Grimsværk isn't exactly advertised on those glossy travel brochures you find tucked into airplane seat pockets, usually stuck together with something suspiciously sticky. You won't find it on a list of top 10 places to find yourself, and a decent flat white. Oh no, this is the travel equivalent of voluntarily entering the witness protection program, but without the glamour of having snitched on the mob. It's a place where the main tourist attraction is the profound sense of being utterly, wonderfully, terrifyingly alone. If you're looking for vibrant nightlife, bustling markets, or indeed any life at all beyond some hardy lichens and a few bewildered seabirds, you might want to reconsider your packing list. Think of it as the anti-Disneyland. Instead of cheerful characters and thrilling rides, you get bracing winds and the thrilling uncertainty of whether the supply ship will arrive this month or indeed this season. It's the perfect spot if your life's ambition is to write that novel or to finally understand the offside rule in football without any distracting commentators. Grimsværk offers an unparalleled opportunity to confront your innermost thoughts, mostly because there's absolutely nothing else to do. It's an exclusive club for those who find other people, well, a bit much. And let's be honest, after a year like the ones we've had, who doesn't? So you're still with me? You haven't run screaming for the nearest Starbucks or frantically Googled luxury spa breaks? Brave. Or perhaps just deeply masochistic. Let's talk about the journey to Grimsværk, an experience so arduous it makes Frodo's trek to Mordor look like a leisurely stroll to the corner shop for a cornetto. First, you'll need to find a map that actually includes Grimsværk. Good luck with that. Most cartographers just draw a sea monster or a vague "here be dragons" and probably no phone signal label in its general vicinity. It's not exactly a hub for EasyJet, you understand. Your travel agent, if they haven't already fainted or tried to have you sectioned, will explain that reaching Grimsværk involves a series of increasingly uncomfortable and unreliable modes of transport. Think of it like a reverse commute from a sprawling Los Angeles suburb to downtown during rush hour, only instead of irate drivers and endless traffic jams, you have actual tangible peril. You'll likely start with a long-haul flight to the nearest vaguely civilized landmass, which is still several hundred nautical miles and a lifetime of regret away. This isn't your Cunard luxury liner, folks. There's no shuffleboard, no midnight buffet, and the evening entertainment usually consists of watching the first mate argue with a particularly stubborn barnacle. The journey can take days or weeks depending on the weather, which in this part of the world has more mood swings than a teenager denied internet access. One moment, it's deceptively calm, the next you're in a maelstrom that makes the Poseidon adventure look like a gentle boat ride on the Serpentine. You'll learn to appreciate the subtle art of sleeping whilst being tossed around like a sock in a washing machine. It's character building, they say. Mostly it builds a strong desire to never see the ocean again. And then just when you think you can't take another wave, another lurch, another meal of reconstituted something or other, you'll spot it. A tiny speck on the horizon. That's Grimsværk. It doesn't so much appear as reluctantly materialize out of the mist, as if it's not entirely sure it wants to be found. Disembarking is its own special kind of fun, often involving a smaller, even more terrifying boat, or possibly a trebuchet if the tide is particularly uncooperative. Forget the smooth efficiency of Heathrow. Think more along the lines of being unceremoniously dumped onto a rocky shore with your luggage and a lingering sense of "what have I done?" Once you've successfully landed in Grimsværk, and maybe kissed the surprisingly damp ground, you'll start to appreciate the unique rhythm of local life, or more accurately, the lack thereof. Time in Grimsværk doesn't so much fly as it does congeal. Like back home in New York City, you've got honking taxis, rushing commuters, and this urgent quest for the perfect bagel. Here, that's all swapped out for the gentle lapping of waves, the mournful cry of a distant seabird, and honestly, the urgent quest to find a tin of beans that hasn't passed its sell-by date by more than a decade. It's a different pace for sure. The locals, all 7 of them, on a good day, if Agnes hasn't wandered off again, are a hearty bunch. They communicate in a series of grunts, knowing nods, and the occasional raised eyebrow that can seriously convey an entire paragraph of disapproval. Their daily routines, totally dictated by the tides, the weather, and whether Old Man Hemlock has managed to get the generator working. Forget your 9-to-5 grind. Here, the main occupations are fishing, when the sea isn't, trying to swallow you whole, mending nets, staring out at the horizon with profound stoicism, and engaging in these lengthy, silent debates about whose turn it is to fetch the brackish water. Traditions in Grimsværk are simple and deeply ingrained. There's the annual festival of slightly less bleak weather, which, honestly, usually gets rained off. There's also the sacred ritual of checking the post, which involves a trek to the highest point on the island to see if the biannual supply ship has remembered they exist. Spoiler, it often forgets. Daily struggles include trying to grow anything edible in the salty, windswept soil, mostly resulting in angry-looking potatoes, keeping the damp out of, everything, and resisting the urge to teach the puffins to play poker out of sheer unadulterated boredom. It's a life stripped bare, a bit like your dignity after that sea journey. The concept of convenience is hilariously alien here. Need milk? You'd better hope a particularly adventurous goat has made its way onto the island, or that the last shipment included some UHT. Craving your favorite brand of crisps? You'll have to make do with dried seaweed, which, I'm told, is an acquired taste. A taste you'll probably never acquire. The lack of Wi-Fi is perhaps the most defining characteristic for any modern visitor. Your phone becomes a very expensive, very useless paperweight. The only streaming you'll be doing is watching tears stream down your face as you realize you can't check your Instagram likes. So, what does the intrepid tourist do for fun in Grimsværk? Well, this is where your creativity or your capacity for enduring extreme boredom truly shines. The list of conventional attractions is, shall we say, concise. There are no museums unless you count Old Man Hemlock's collection of unusually shaped driftwood. No art galleries, though the ever-changing patterns of mold on the cottage walls have a certain abstract quality. No theaters, no cinemas, no charming little boutiques selling artisanal kelp soap. It's a bit of a blank canvas, entertainment-wise. A very, very blank canvas. Most visitors quickly discover the joys of competitive cloud watching, or the thrill of seeing if you can spot the same piece of flotsam wash up on the beach twice in one day. Birdwatching is an option, if you find the relentless squawking of gulls to be a soothing soundtrack to your mental unraveling. Hiking is possible, though every path inevitably leads back to the same bleak vista, reminding you that escape is, futile. Some try to engage the locals in conversation, which usually results in a one-sided monologue about the weather, followed by a long, awkward silence. It's not exactly a laugh riot. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Or rather, the American tourist in the wind-blasted shack. Could they handle a week in Grimsværk? Imagine transplanting someone from the land of drive-thrus, 24-hour news cycles, and unlimited data plans to this bastion of splendid isolation. The initial culture shock would be immense. The lack of readily available, venti-sized, triple-shot soy milk lattes alone could trigger a national emergency. Where's the nearest Target? How does one order a pizza? The horror, the sheer unadulterated horror of it all. I suspect the first few days would be a blur of phantom phone vibrations and desperate attempts to find a Wi-Fi signal that simply doesn't exist. By day 3, the withdrawal symptoms from constant connectivity would be kicking in. Twitching thumbs, a vacant stare, perhaps even an attempt to like a particularly interesting rock formation. By day 5, they might be found trying to teach the local dialect to a confused puffin, or attempting to barter their noise-canceling headphones for a single solitary Snickers bar. Could they last a full week? Honestly, I'd put my money on them fashioning a raft out of discarded fish boxes and a desperate hope for rescue by a passing cruise ship. probably heading back to find the nearest Starbucks, vowing never to complain about slow Wi-Fi again. Grimsvurk. It's not for everyone, especially if everyone is from the USA.